Hello, beautiful people out there. I hope my students are enjoying their snow day and I finally get a chance to review a book. Now, this is not the first book I have read this year. I did read one book, I recorded a video, and then decided I didn't want to get fired. Um, Let me just say the book was a huge disappointment. I think I went into the book looking for answers. How can I make people, especially of one gender, less angry? People are angry out there. I don't know if you noticed, but everybody's angry, and I don't know why. Everybody thinks someone else is getting more than they are. I don't know. Anyway, I went in with good intentions to read this book, looking for answers. And even the book was written, published in 2022. In the preface, the author mocks the Barbie movie, which didn't come out till 2023. And they did nothing for the paperback edition to kind of maybe if you're writing a book on genders, you shouldn't mock the movie of our time that's kind of tackled the gender issues in our country right now, considering we seem to be, as I record this, in the Mojo Dojo Casa House um, phase of the movie. So, anyway, the book I burned. I literally burned a book because I didn't want anyone else to read this. I did not resell it back to thrift books. I did not recycle it. I burned it, and those ashes will be used to compost my spring flowers. So, those of you coming at me, and there's snow on the ground, so not a fire hazard. Okay, so anyway, now that I got that rant out of the way, this is the second book I read in 2025, and it's Purple Hibiscus. And I apologize for the way I'm going to pronounce this author's name. I know it's going to sound horrible, but I tried, I listened. It's Chimamanda Ngozi Adichie, and she was recommended, actually her other book. I don't know if it's her first. This is the first book I'm reading. Says Americana. Everyone has recommended that one, and I couldn't get that one first, but I got Purple Hibiscus, and I the older I get, the more literature I get exposed to, the less inclined I am to apply the one book fits all in a class. So I'm really moving towards literature circles. So my honors 10th grade, they read Things Fall Apart, which happens in Nigeria, just like Purple Hibiscus. And I would like to add this one to the mix as well. So I'm learning a lot about Nigeria, which clearly I need to. And I really, I thought I've read a lot about Ghana, and I know citizens of Ghana. They've been in my life, and I'm very grateful for them. Nigeria, it's over in Africa for those of you who don't know. But if you're watching this video and you read, you probably knew that already. And we have this teenage girl. Her name is Kambili. I know I'm saying that wrong. I think it's Kambili. And her father is extremely wealthy, definitely an entrepreneur. He has many businesses. He owns the newspaper, which comes into play later on. So she's led a very privileged lifestyle. However, her father attributes everything to God. All the success in his life is because of God. Okay, not arguing with that. What happens though is he lives by the Bible. He puts impossible standards on his children. And for example, during one of the marking periods, she's number 2 in her class, and he physically punishes her for that. Um, she needs to be number 1 in her class. They go to church all the time, and it's Roman Catholic. Now, in my studies and my exposure to Nigerian culture, the the Catholics in Nigeria have kind of mixed the mysticism up of it. I hope I'm not offending anybody with my description, but it's just to the next level. They're very serious Catholics, and if you think Irish Catholics have got a hold on the Catholic Church, you're wrong. Nigerians have embraced Catholicism, and they've mixed it with their original. Um, I don't want to say maybe polytheistic or um, earth, just appreciating Mother Nature. So you get this really interesting mix of religion. So her father is abusive because of his religion. And so his sister and their father, I'm sorry, yes, his father is not Catholic, and he forbids his children from spending any time in the house of a pagan. So they don't understand because they really like their grandfather. They like their aunt, their father's sister, Ifoma, and she finally convinces him after a particular abusive run on his part, why don't they come to my town for a little bit? And Adiche does a great job. The imagery just immerses you. It's like a movie playing. The way she describes everything, it's like you're watching a movie when you read. This is one of the few books where I've lost track of the outside world based on the writing here. So you really understand the shortages and the differences, a society where the educated are feared. Wonder what that's like. Anyway, so she is a professor. So you see these two different worlds. Her father's world, which does start to collapse because he does own the city newspaper. He does run pieces against the government, and his editor is killed in a bombing, and his life is threatened. So after they've come back um, to their father, they bring the purple hibiscus because her aunt has these beautiful plants. So the symbolism of taking what they've learned from their aunt and the simplistic values of just the human beings around you rather than the gods. So the purple hibiscus are planted in her father's garden, and her mom and she and her brother Juju just kind of take solace and look at those purple hibiscus. And then a really bad abuse happens. And he's not charged with anything. Like, that's the thing. It just shows you what, wealthy people can get away with. So her mother um, allows the children to go back to her sister-in-law's house, Ifoma's house. And while they're there, their father dies unexpectedly, and it kind of changes the family dynamic. Now, Adichie, when you think you're at the resolution, she has a page with 2 paragraphs on it. So my students out there talking about structure, this is a great example. You have a page with 2 paragraphs. The first paragraph, she drops some knowledge on you, and it's like this. And then you recover, and then you go on to read the second paragraph, and it's like this. And then you get to the resolution, and they're all acting like it's okay what happened, and the way she writes it, it is okay. It is the way the story was supposed to end. So I gave this 5 stars because it was just so beautiful. I mean, the consonants of purple hibiscus, just it just talks about the disruption in such a privileged life because of things outside of her control. So if you're looking for an alternative to things fall apart, I still would like to use that in my classroom because it is, the kids like it. The yams, they get the yam symbolism and things fall apart. But again, this would be something, if I could do a lit circle, if I could get enough copies of it, I would totally do. All right, so again, the book is Purple Hibiscus by Chimamanda Ngozi Adichie, and 5 stars. So thank you for watching. Like, share, or subscribe.